I only need a few minutes. Thank you very much. Because we're in the campaign season, I've been locked away in my dungeon office, and I finally came out for sunlight today, so thanks for inviting me. We all should be correctly focusing on campaigns right now. That's where the emphasis should be. That's where our efforts should be. We need to win elections in order to pass good policy. However, I needed to come out here today and let you know that as soon as these November elections are over at the federal level, we have a lot of things coming down the pike in the lame duck session that are very important for us to focus on. If anything, one issue we really need to focus on starting now in order to kind of give the signal that yes, we're campaigning, but we know what's coming down the pike and we're watching, would be the internet sales tax. And essentially what happens is the continuing resolution that they passed expires on December 11th. In that was also the internet sales tax moratorium, the ban on the internet sales tax. That expires on December 11th. If this expires and they don't pass a permanent extension of this, essentially what that would do is give, let's say Julie makes watches in her office at home, and she wants to sell those watches online. This is a small business, it's an online business that she works at from home. If the internet sales tax expires, essentially what would happen is over 9,000 tax jurisdictions would be able to go after Julie to collect their taxes from the people who are buying her products. Now, the argument for this is that brick and mortar stores, they pay state, local, and municipal taxes that online retailers aren't always paying. And so let's say New York doesn't like that all of their residents are buying watches from Julie instead of brick and mortar stores in New York. They're going to go after Julie to collect taxes. Well, so are 9,000 other taxing authorities. Essentially, Julie would have to hire, for her small business, 6 full-time accountants at least, just to operate her small business from home. This is fundamentally unfair because what they're trying to do is they're saying it's unfair to brick and mortar stores, and so they're flipping it and make it infinitely more unfair to online salespeople. So if you were going to have a tax, and I'm not saying I'm advocating for this, the argument would be that you need to have a state sales tax that applies to, or local or whatever, that applies to retail brick and mortar stores and online businesses, that only the people that she lives in that district can actually tax her. Because without that, she is essentially facing over 9,000 different instances of taxation without representation. The interesting thing is that there's actually a couple of Supreme Court cases that dealing with mail order catalogs, which have already said that this type of a tax is unconstitutional. That doesn't seem to be stopping Congress. The majority of the Democrats and progressives support, because it's a tax and it's another way, especially for, let's say you're a New York member of Congress. It's easy to tax people out of state. You can tax the heck out of them because they don't vote for you. There's no downside for them. If you have a point of origin tax, like I was talking about, if you wanted to do this, that would at least be fair because then you're only taxing people who are able to vote for you. That is what our system is supposed to be for. Currently in Texas, I think Mike Conaway, Joe Barton, and Ted Poe have signed on to the Marketplace Fairness Act. Those are individuals who we need to get them to change their position, and we also need to make sure that more people in this area don't sign on to that. So phone calls asking Representative Marchant, Representative Burgess, Representative Sessions, Representative Granger, asking them to be vocal in their opposition and demanding a full-time moratorium on this would be great. Essentially, and I'll end on this, this is a power play by, and I'm not anti-corporation, I'm pro-free market, pro-business, but this is a power play by some very well-connected corporate interests that want to basically crowd out small business competitors. Amazon, for instance, and I buy a ton of stuff from Amazon, I'm a big fan of their business model. Amazon is supporting this internet sales tax because they know they have physical locations in every state. They're already paying these taxes. They know if they can do this, they can make it really hard for up-and-coming companies to compete with them. So we need to be very vocal. If you can do letters to the editor, if you can make phone calls, if you can get on Facebook, Twitter, the hashtag is NoNetTax. This will be very helpful and it'll help us stop a lot of other things like tax extenders, OPIC, which is a crony capitalist program, a bad AUMF. There's a whole laundry list of things we've got going on in the lame duck session. Anyways, thank you very much for giving me a few minutes to speak.